Hello, I'm Rick Babick, president of Design Research. Design Research is a custom market research company serving the home and housewares industries and a longtime member of the IHA. Thanks for listening and viewing our presentation on The Sale Doesn't End at the Register, Understand the Power of User Experience in Growing Your Brand. This presentation is actually a part two. There's a part one on sustainability for housewares companies. This is a part two of a presentation that was created for the Chicago show. Both presentations will be available through the IHA website and through the Design Research website. Before I get into the research, though, I want to thank the IHA for setting this up and for the many years of presentations that we have had the privilege of doing in Chicago. This presentation is part of a series of research projects that we call the American Living Survey. That's an ongoing study of American homes, including design, decor, furnishings, colors, materials, styles, and lifestyles. This particular edition focuses on recent research that we've done on the need to support products after the sale. The goal of the American Living Survey is to bring you closer to your consumer via demographic trends, design trends, styles, lifestyles, product trends, consumer needs and wants, thereby empowering you to grow your sales. TALS is published by Design Research. We are a research and consulting company whose specialty is helping companies who make products for the home reduce risk and grow sales by aligning products, packaging, advertising, messaging, branding, and marketing strategies with consumer desires, wants, and needs. In short, we help you to excite and delight your customers. And again, we'd like to say thank you to all of our clients who we often see at the show and often come to our presentation. You know who you are. Thank you for all the support for all these years. Okay, so on to the presentation. What happens after the sale? Do you feel confident in your customers' satisfaction levels with your products? We found this online. It's a survey that someone else did, saying, what do you think will be the #1 brand differentiator in 2020? Well, the answer was really interesting. 29% said the user experience. 21% each said superior product innovation or brand authenticity. 19% said visual brand identity, and 11% said emerging channels. But think about that, 29%, okay, more than a quarter said user experience. We think user experience is incredibly important, and we fear that companies often don't think about product once it's out the door. All of the results that we're sharing are quantitative studies. This particular one had a sample size of 800. We asked a series of questions. For example, now I'd like you to think about products you use in your kitchen for meal prep, such as small electric countertop appliances, cookware, bakeware, cutlery, kitchen gadgets, etc. Have you ever been disappointed with the performance of a product you purchased? I was shocked that the answer was 74% said yes to that they've been disappointed with a product they purchased. That's a very high percentage. 44% said I was disappointed because the product didn't work well. 39% said it was hard to clean. 14% said it was messy to use. 13% said it was complicated to use. And 7% said the instructions were hard to follow. In the same study, we asked shoppers who participated, who purchased these kinds of products in different stores. And one we broke out in particular was Williams-Sonoma, because they have high expectations from the products that they are likely paying premium prices for. They've got a right to expect more of these products. So what did we find on the high end? Okay, and of course we are imputing this, but we found that hard to clean was even higher on the more expensive products, 54% versus 39%. Messy to use was 26% versus 14%. Complicated to use was 20 versus 13, and hard to follow instructions, 11 versus 7. So going up to premium products doesn't solve the problem, or at least the perception of the problem. So what product categories were they disappointed in? 50% mentioned food prep gadgets, 49% mentioned electric countertop appliances, 29% bakeware, 26% cookware, and 15% cutlery. When you think about that, those top three, those are products that, are just the product. There's no electronics involved, there's no moving parts or anything, and still those products disappoint. So what happens with these unsatisfactory products? Well, 64% still have the product and don't use it. 24% discarded it, 20% gave it away, and 13% returned it. Now think about that. We started out by saying we fear that companies aren't really thinking enough about what's happening after the sale. Well, if 13%, or basically 1 out of 7, returns a product that they're not happy with, that's sort of the tip of the iceberg. Can potentially be a lot more unhappiness with products out there that you're never seeing, because those products were given away, thrown away, or sitting in the back of the closet. And of all of those, I think perhaps the still have, don't use is the worst one for companies, because every time a consumer looks at that product with your brand name on it and says, oh yeah, I don't like that thing, it didn't work, that's a black mark on your brand. Women are more likely to keep and not use products they're disappointed in than men. Men are more likely to throw them away. With limited space, urban dwellers are the least likely to keep poor performing kitchen products and most likely to return them, 19%. Williams-Sonoma shoppers are the most likely to give these unwanted products away. Here, happy engagement. Gen Y and Gen X are more likely than boomers to toss a product that they don't like. But of course, they're more likely to be urban dwellers too, with less space. One of the questions that we asked was, did you use the instruction manual of this disappointing kitchen product? Well, 46% skimmed it, 38% read it completely prior to using the product. 17% said, I consulted it when I didn't understand something, and 8% never looked at it. Of those who read it completely prior to using it, it was 45% for men versus 36% for women. So men are more likely to read the user manual. Women are more likely to consult the user manual when they didn't understand something, 19 versus 10. Interestingly as well, lower income households are the least likely to fully read the user guide. 29% for those with incomes under 50,000 versus 40% or so with those above. So how does this impact the housewares market in your business? Well, difficult to use, poor performing, hard to clean products hurt business and hurt brands. 56% will not buy this type of product again, and 27% will not buy from this company again. Now, if you listen to the other presentation we did, I can tell you that I sympathize with these feelings, because I recently had to buy a microwave that lasted less than a year. I tried to repair it and couldn't repair it. And so I had to discard a 10-month-old microwave, or 11-month-old, whatever microwave. And I guarantee, I won't tell you the brand name on that microwave, but I guarantee I will never buy a product from that company again. Gen Yers and boomers, see that's me, 29% boomer, say they will not buy from this company again. Gen X was a little bit easier going on the company at 21%. It's important to keep in mind that only 38% of consumers are fully reading product manuals. We suggest that quick start guides and handy troubleshooters may go a long way to increasing product satisfaction. Also, videos posted on YouTube are helpful and in line with how consumers want to learn. Some companies really deserve great credit because they have like hundreds and hundreds of videos showing the use of the product, especially on YouTube. We also believe that it's really important to test products before introduction. In-home product usage tests test instructions and manuals as well as products to see, are consumers actually using them? Are they reading them? Are they understanding them? And are they applying what they're learning correctly? This is a typical in-home use test which we would run, typically involves 15 to 30 products, which are placed in 15 to 30 qualified homes across the country. We have those protocols for the frequency of product usage, meaning we're telling them you have to use this product for a minimum of, say, 4 to 6 weeks, and it has to be used perhaps 2 or 3 times a week. We monitor usage for problems and satisfaction. So, for example, we might have respondents do a diary entry online after each use, which would help us to understand if they had any problems. We might have them submit photos of results of what they did after each use. So, for example, those are a couple photos at the bottom of products that, foods that were cooked on products that we were testing. We typically have a beginning survey exploring expectations and the initial reaction, a middle survey exploring problems encountered and initial satisfaction, and then a final survey identifying whatever problems they could or couldn't overcome, identifying overall product satisfaction, likelihood to purchase or recommend purchasing, and likelihood of purchasing the product at the real price, whatever that is. Sometimes we have the products returned so that engineers can evaluate their performance. We also believe that every product instruction manual should have these qualities. It should be available in the box. It should be available online, via website or social media or whatever. It should be updated regularly online to reflect product updates. It should be specific to a single product, not a group of products that may or may not have similar features or some features. Have you ever seen one of those where you get an instruction manual and there's like 20 different models listed? That makes me crazy. First thing you spend is your time trying to figure out which model you actually bought. It should be written in clear, concise language. How many times have you found confusing language or poor photographs? That's another one. Illustrations and photos should be generous, clear, and clearly labeled. All languages should be tested for accuracy by knowledgeable sources, not the computer translation function that comes in your software. And you should know your target audience for the product and have directions written in the tone and skill level appropriate to that target. Think back to the Williams-Sonoma products. They're probably selling high-end, cooking utensils and gear, and those products probably require higher skill levels. So have recipes, have instructions or whatnot that are done at different levels, just starting out or beginner or pro or advanced or whatever. And use your brand voice, make it fun and entertaining. We do manual testing by our staff, which is low at cost and quick, and with actual consumer panels as part of in-home product testing. We like to say that the initial sale is only the beginning of a relationship with a customer. Make a customer, not a sale. Think about all the consumer touch points that there are. Retailer websites, brand websites, social media, consumer reviews, product packaging, instruction manuals, quick start guides, how-to videos, promotions, contests, games. Your presence should be uniform, should be uniformly fun, and should be reflecting what your brand is all about in all those places that consumers can find it. What most characterizes fast-growing brands? Well, fair prices, not surprising. Okay. Innovation, experience, and great communications. And that's really what this presentation was about, is great communications. Think about every way that you, as a company, communicate about your products to your consumers and ask yourself, how can we make it great? Thank you. I hope you appreciated this and found this interesting. You can find a copy of this presentation on the IHA website or at designres.com. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to send emails to me, rick@designres.com. And also, there's a follow-on presentation that our friend Jane Fryman has on her website. It's called How to Create a Successful User Experience That Can Turn Your Product into an Integral Kitchen Tool. So look for her at smartkitcheninsights.com. Thank you very much, and thank you again to the IHA.